everyone, what's up? Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I promise this is the last video that you'll see in front of my tree. This is pre-recorded, so it's like the day after Christmas when I'm recording this. So don't worry, I'm not one of those people who keeps their tree up all year. But anyway, I wanted to go ahead and make a video all about how to become a social media manager. This is what I do full time. I've worked both in corporate America, working for Fortune 500s, nonprofits, startups, and I've also worked for the past few years as a freelancer. I have a business called James & Park. We do primarily social media advertising and organic content strategy. And then I also do a lot of video production work, video editing, video marketing, things like that. So keep watching if you're interested, and let's get into it. First thing that you're gonna wanna do is get educated. Now, don't get scared here. I'm not saying that you have to go to college like I did necessarily. I'm not saying that you have to take my course. Like, I'm not saying that. This can mean a variety of different things for different people, but I will say that one of the big things that I do see when people come to me to work with me as their coach, or who comment under these videos and things like that, is they'll be like, oh, well, I grew my Instagram account, or, you know, I have this Facebook group that really took off. So can I be a social media manager now? And that's great. I think having that experience and having that portfolio piece, which we'll talk about later, is really important. But it's also really important to understand business and to understand kind of the business terms and sort of the business processes and all of that kind of stuff, in addition to just knowing how to organically grow something, or, you know, getting lucky, if you will. So there truly are so many different ways that you can get educated. Like I said, it doesn't have to be formal education necessarily. Now, I did go to college. I went to school for film, video, media studies and political science. Those are not necessarily the majors I would choose. Now, if I knew what I wanted to do with social media management, I'd probably look at, you know, marketing, business, communications, which my degree was in the School of Communications. So I did have a lot of writing classes and interpersonal communication, public speaking, things like that, which all have definitely helped me. But even photo or video is really important. I know a lot of people are like, oh, so you don't use your degree. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I film videos every single day, if not for my own YouTube channel, which is a big marketing tool for my business, but for my clients. So those are all good majors. Talk to your advisor, see what they recommend. Some schools even have like digital marketing programs now, so definitely check with them. But like I said, if you have chosen to not go to college, if it's too expensive, which believe me, I know, I was lucky I got a scholarship, there are lots of other ways to learn. A few resources that I always recommend. Number one, Hubspot Academy is amazing. Please take advantage of that. I think all of the courses are free. I've taken Inbound, I'm taking a content marketing course right now. They have a ton of really good courses that are free. Like I said, I think that they all are free. I'm gonna list that down below. There's also another free course that Facebook offers. It's called Facebook Blueprint, and that is a course that teaches you how to use Facebook ads. And then, of course, I do have some resources as well. I actually have a free guide that you can get if you just go to bit.ly/SMM starter kit. It's kind of like a visual, you know, written version of this video, honestly. So if you prefer to consume your content that way, that'll be good for you, or just something to reference back to. And then I also have a free course, which I'll link down below. And I do have some paid courses as well. Not pushing you to those, but definitely check them out. There's lots of courses out there. Those are just a couple that I recommend, but do your research, you know, use Skillshare, use Udemy and all of those things. Use YouTube. You're doing the right thing right now by researching on YouTube, but definitely learn. Even after you go to college, even after you think that you know everything, this industry is constantly changing. So that is like my biggest tip, is to always be on top of learning. Step number two, you're going to need to build a portfolio. So this can be difficult if you didn't go to school for social media, which not a lot of people do. It can be difficult if you don't have an internship. It can be difficult if you're kind of starting from nothing. So number one, like I talked about, maybe you did have an Instagram account that kind of blew up, or a Facebook group that you managed, or maybe you have a podcast on the side, or something that you can kind of share as an example of the work that you do, and that you can really make your pet project and build it up and show some success with that. You know, that can be one example or one thing that you put into your portfolio. Another thing that you can do is take portfolio projects. So portfolio projects is a fancy way of saying a free or low cost project for a friend or family, the friends and family discount essentially. That's what a lot of people do to get started. You know, if you have a friend who has a business, if you're aunt, I don't know, needs help with her LinkedIn page or something, like offer your services at a discounted rate or for free. I know that a lot of marketers and people on the internet are very against doing free work, but honestly, I think that it's just kind of like an internship, you know? So I definitely do portfolio projects here and there, especially when I'm trying to break into a new kind of niche or a new type of industry or try something new with my content. I might do like one thing. That's my key. And I have a podcast episode all about this, so I'll link that down below as well. But the key is not to be like, oh, I'll do your social media for a year to build my portfolio. No, no, no. Say I'll do 10 photos, or I'll write 10 captions for you, or I'll, you know, cover one event for you or something like that. I'll plan out one content calendar for you. Don't make it like this ongoing thing where you're always working for free. I think that's the key. Number 3 is market yourself. So whether you want to work in-house somewhere, meaning you want to get a job in social media management, or you want to start your own business, you're going to need to market yourself. That's just the world that we live in nowadays. Personal branding is everything. So if you're going the more traditional job route, definitely make sure that your LinkedIn is updated. LinkedIn is social media. And I think that it's kind of a great portfolio type work. It's a great example of who you are, and if you can get good engagement on your LinkedIn posts and your LinkedIn profile is put together and nice, you probably know something about social media. So definitely make sure that that is all up to date. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like me to do a full episode on LinkedIn. And then same thing though, if you're looking to freelance or start your own business, LinkedIn is huge for me in my own business as well. I kind of used to think of it as a very typical corporate type thing, but no, everybody really needs a LinkedIn if you ask me. So definitely make sure that you go ahead and clean that up. But you also may want to consider a website, like a portfolio website. So look into that. It can be really affordable to build a website using Squarespace. That's my preferred service, but I know a lot of people swear by Wix and other website builders. It's pretty easy nowadays and it can be really low cost. You don't need to have 10 million pages on your first website. I think that this is something that a lot of my clients get really hung up on when they come to me for coaching. They're like, I have this kind of failure to launch because I'm afraid to launch my website. It's not ready yet. Listen, all that your first website needs is a little bit about you, so an about page, a way to contact you, and some type of a services page, a portfolio page, you know, some type of example of what you can do, a little bit of insight on what you're offering. That's all you need to start. You don't need complex sales funnels and forms and all these amazing, like super high quality pictures. Listen, all that stuff can come later down the line when you're ready, when you have more time and money to invest into your business. Start with the basics. So about, contact, and a little bit about what you do. Step number 4 is establish your processes. So this really is everything from your pricing. You got to determine what type of salary you're looking for. If you're looking for a day job, you have to determine your hourly and or package rate. If you're a freelancer, all of that. So there will be a resource link down below for freelancers. Indeed, is that the one? Glassdoor, not Indeed. Glassdoor, LinkedIn has a salary estimator too, I think. Payscale, those are all good ones to search for what a social media manager would make in your area, or a social media coordinator. Play around with different roles and titles, because if you're entry level, you're probably gonna start as like a marketing coordinator, social media coordinator, community manager, something like that, before you get into marketing manager or social media manager. So look at those salaries so you can get an understanding of what to ask for and what to look for. So pricing is definitely a part of the processes, but you also want to figure out like your SOP or your standard operating procedure, especially if you are a freelancer or you want to be a freelancer. Determine, you know, what the process is when you get a client. How are you going to onboard them? How are you going to get them acclimated to the tools and the software that you use? And how are you going to set their strategy? So do research on like social media strategies, social media onboarding, client onboarding, stuff like that. I do have a whole section on my signature course, which is a paid course, but it's a pretty affordable investment if you're looking to do this long-term for your career. So I do have a whole section on that in there, on onboarding your clients. So yeah, figure all that out. Figure out what social media management system you're going to use. I personally use a tool called Loomly, but there's a ton of other ones out there, Hootsuite and Sprout Social, Agora Pulse. so many, and most of them, if not all of them, offer some free trial or free version of their scheduler. So you definitely, if you're going to be a social media manager, have to have a scheduler. You can't just post everything organically. That'll work for 1 or 2 accounts, but after a while, you're going to need to have a nice content calendar view, a nice way to communicate back and forth with your client, all that kind of stuff. Invoicing, contracts. Again, if you are going to be freelance, you need to figure all that stuff out too. I do think I have resources on that that'll link down below, but if not, real quick, Wave is my invoicing, and &Co is a great place to start when it comes to contracts. And then number 5 is to find jobs and clients. So again, this depends on whether or not you want to work in-house, whether you want to work with clients, and it can change. You know, it's changed for me. When I first started, I started my career in corporate, and I knew that I wanted that experience, and I'm really happy with the path that I took. I'm really glad that I did have corporate experience, but I ended up going on to run my own business. Now, will I run my own business forever? I don't know. I'm really happy doing it right now and don't see myself going back today, this year, next year, but who knows, maybe 10 years down the line, I might desire a full-time office job again. So we'll see. You can go back and forth. You don't have to necessarily choose right now, but there are obviously different processes for each one. So for me, I found my first job on the internet, as all the millennials do nowadays, my first, full-time marketing job. But I'm gonna break it to you honestly. I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. Social media and marketing in general is pretty competitive right now. And I did not get a social media management job straight out of college. I took something that I knew was going to get me those desirable skills and to get me to where I needed to be long term. So I took an entry-level job at a chat lab. So it was basically like a call center, but people chatted in with you instead. And it was at I think it's a Fortune 100, maybe if not Fortune 100, Fortune 500, but it's like a really good company. And it was really good experience. I knew that it was gonna help me with customer service, which is a huge aspect of social media management. I knew that it was gonna help grow like my writing skills and my spelling and all of that stuff, also huge. And I knew that it was in the sales and marketing department of that company and that I would have the option to over time move up into a more direct marketing role, or at least have that title and that department on my resume, because my official title actually sounded pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. But really what I was doing is chatting with people on the internet. But I got promoted within like 4 or 5 months. So I had a senior level role. And then pretty much after I was in that senior level role for a little bit, I started getting people reaching out to me constantly to ask me to interview for social media jobs. Now here's the other caveat with that. Again, I'm being brutally honest with you. I had a side hustle as well. So I had this YouTube channel. I did some writing work here and there on the side. And I also started to develop a relationship with one of my longer term clients doing their social media and influencer marketing strategy. So I was doing that, kind of moonlighting, doing some freelance social media, and those things all coupled together, the Fortune 100 company, the freelance gig, the YouTube channel, all of that experience combined got me my first entry-level social media job at a different Fortune 500 company. So just want to be honest with you, you might not get a social media manager job like straight out of college, but all of that whole process of getting my first social media job only took me 9 or 10 months. I was only in that first role for like 9 or 10 months. So there's the tea on that. And I found that job on Indeed. If you want to look for clients, if you want to start your own business, word of mouth is huge. I encourage you to get off the internet, because on the internet, I find a lot of other people who want to do what you do, which is great. And it can be great for community. That's what this whole channel is all about. But it isn't necessarily the greatest place to find clients all the time. So go where your clients are. If they're going to conferences, if they're going to small business events in your city, your town, they're going to events, whatever it is, print off some business cards. You can do it real cheap, real easy on Canva, and go to those events, introduce yourself, share your portfolio with them, start talking. Again, LinkedIn is a great place to find people. You can also look on sites like Indeed and even LinkedIn. You can use their search tools and search for contract, temp, part-time jobs. And a lot of times those will either turn into freelance gigs, or you can talk to them and say, hey, I'm looking for a freelance opportunity. Can we do that instead? I know that a lot of people have really love-hate relationships with freelance job boards as well, but I personally have had a lot of success on sites like Upwork. Upwork is actually where I got my first ever freelance client. Like I said, that writing client that I was kind of doing as a side hustle, I found that on Upwork. So again, you might not find like your entire income on Upwork. Who knows, maybe you will. But for me, it was supplementary, and it was something to get my foot in the door and to get some portfolio work on the table so that I could eventually get a day job and higher ticket clients. So that's it. Those are the 5 key steps to becoming a social media manager. Again, you can download my guide. It's bit.ly/SMM starter kit. And I'm gonna have a ton of resources linked down in the description box. So be sure to open that up by clicking see more, scrolling down and viewing some of the resources that I mentioned. Next week or next episode, I'm gonna be talking about the differences between freelance and full-time social media management. So I wanna talk about what I liked about each, what I don't like about each, salary, you know, how much I got paid at each, things like that. So definitely stay tuned for that. If you want to see that, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I upload next, and go ahead and leave a like on this video if it's helpful for you, comment down below, and I will talk to you very soon. Thanks for watching, bye.